All right, people. Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Beats and Things. I am your host, K Hill, and my partner is Finster of the legendary hip hop group Finster Bundy. Welcome to Hip Hop Beats and Things. So check it out. Y'all know I always got to get a crazy intro and whatnot before I, tell y'all about my artists and whatnot. I'm gonna say this right here, man. In my book, this is one of my younger associate friends, peers, and whatnot. And I think it's always important to keep, younger people around you, younger innovators, people that constantly keep their wheels spinning, people that always push the envelope to the next level and whatnot. And I guess today is definitely an artist that does all of the above. Fortunately, we was lucky enough. Our timing is impeccable because we was lucky enough to catch him right on the heels of a new release. So Hip Hop Beats and Things, world, culture, everybody that's watching, I want to give a crazy shout out to our guest today, MC Pat Jr.
Hey.
Welcome to Hip Hop Beats and Things, my brother.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time out, man, because you've been on a crazy press run as of late. Yeah. You've been on a lot of heavy promo for your release, your mixtape release, Grill Talk.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, dope album.
I appreciate
you know what I'm saying? And hopefully by the time this episode drop, people are already familiar with the project, already familiar with their favorite tracks. Yeah. I want to give you some of my favorite tracks right now, but it's still too early. But there is one.
No, tell me.
I can describe them. Okay. I can describe them, but I can't really give you the track listing.
Okay.
Of course, one of my favorite ones, it has this ill string sample.
Okay.
But there's no beat.
That's the Fortune Field joint.
Okay.
That I did with 3 a.m.
That one.
Okay.
The whole joint is fire.
Yeah, for sure.
That one's fire. And is it Gold? Is it Gold Grill?
Oh, you talking about Goes Gold?
Goes Gold.
Yeah.
So like goals as in, aspirations, dreams and whatnot, comma, gold.
Yes,
yo, man, I can go ahead and tell you right now, that's one of my favorite joints.
Man, thank
you.
I
love it, man.
Thank you.
Look, man, normally I'll start off with, when we had these conversations, I'll start off with your origin and your history and stuff, but I just wanted to talk about the tape for a little bit. I wanted to get straight to the music right now, and then we just gonna go back and forth and whatnot. I think of your music, your style and whatnot, I'm an older head, man. I'm an older god. That's my definition. My definition of OG. So when you call everybody else OG, it means whatever. But when you call K Hill OG, that's older god right there. I'm an older god and whatnot. So I'm one of them cats that I still want to hear the dust in the back. I want to hear the grit and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I love my 808s, but I come from the era where the 808s wasn't like at the forefront.
Yeah.
And one thing about your production, man, oh my God, I'm gonna talk about your production first, and then we're gonna get back to your whole style.
Yeah.
But your production, man, it's like whatever producer you choose to work with, or whatever soundscape you choose to come up with, there's an 808 involved. You know what I'm saying? Like at least 85% of the time. And what I love about you guys, man, is it's not just an 808. You guys actually like key them out, and structure them out and whatnot. Like you guys play 808s and subs like regular pianos and stuff like that. And especially on the Gold, I'm like, yo, man, they really taking it to the next level. It's like you guys have replaced the guitar with the subs in the 808s. And you're not too crazy with your hi-hats. Me and B Kid, that's your engineer Brian Kidd. We always make a joke about, trap hats and whatnot, man. And it's not generic with your production style, with whoever you link yourself up with, man. And it's really an attraction, you know what I'm saying, to whatever production you use to back you up. That's why I love your music.
I appreciate that, man.
But one of my favorite joints of yours, man. Gosh, I cannot think of the title, but you got a video for it where you on a boat.
Oh, you talking about Like the Way?
Like the Way. Yo, dude, let me tell you how crazy I am about this track, bro. And I'm sorry.
Siege Monstrosity, he produced that one.
Listen, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for not being able to know the titles right off, man. But just know I appreciate and love the music. But I love that jam so much that wherever I spin at, You know what I'm saying?
Man, you playing
it's
that
in my
joint?
look, dude. If you look on Tidal,
man.
if you look on Tidal, you know what I'm saying? Because what I do, you know, and I'm giving away a jewel right now, you know. A jewel that, you know, a lot of DJs probably already know, but I do it from a community standpoint.
Yeah.
For one thing, when I spend at events, I play a lot of NC hip hop.
Yeah.
If it's dope.
Right.
And if it fits the vibe.
Right.
And I'll DJ with Tidal.
Okay.
Because what happens is while I'm DJing, you getting paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I say that to say this, you know, if you, whenever you get ready to, you know, look into your accounts and whatnot for the month, if you see a lot of spins on Tidal for, you know what I'm saying, that joint.
Like the waves.
That's K Hill, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man.
No, it's a dope jam overall though, man. It's real vibey, if that's a phrase, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And a lot of your music is vibey. Mm-hmm. But on Grill Talk, you kind of, you know, on Grill Talk, you kind of rip your chest out. You know what I'm saying? You rip your shirt off and poke your chest out and whatnot, man. Like you really got your shit off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what the theme of this mixtape was about.
Absolutely.
Am I going down the right track?
Yeah, man. I like for this one. I in the past I've had songs here and there that were very aggressive, confident, like gritty feeling.
That's why we sitting here, bro.
Yeah.
That's how you got here. You know what I'm saying?
I think, and I've done it here and there, but like I would say like for me, I was explaining it to somebody that comes so easy for me,
right? You talking about that style of rhyming, that subject matter?
Yeah, just that. No, just not the subject matter, but just the feel of like I was talking with my homie Diesel. He's one of the executive producers for the mixtape.
Okay,
and he's the one that kind of the first one that verbally said it out loud because I was thinking it, but he said it out loud. He was like, "Yo, you should do a Grill Talk mixtape." Right, and so before that, we were having a conversation. And I was just like, you know, we were talking about because he did some work on Thangs on Sunday. Okay. And that
was your last project.
Yeah. And he was saying that one of his favorite tracks was Godly. And the reason being, he was like, I really love like confident, witty, aggressive. He was like, you wasn't too aggressive on Godly. He was like, there was a little bit there, but just that whole feel, that confident feel. That's my favorite Pat Junior. He was like, I love all the other Pat Juniors because you're very versatile. Right, very. And I said, I appreciate that. But he was like, that's my favorite Pat Junior. And so my only, I guess, I won't say my issue, but for me, I like a challenge. Right. Right? Like, this is why, like, I love playing difficult video games at times. Like, I've always been like this. Like, my mom... I remember she was telling me when I was like in first, second, and third grade. It took my third grade teacher, shout out to Miss Bryant, but I remember in second grade she would tell me that I would get in trouble a lot in school because I would finish my work real fast and be goofing off, but like all of my work would be right. Right, I was acing everything, and so they tried to put me in like a behavior problem class. My second grade teacher did.
So let me get this right. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
and I definitely don't want to segue into anything else. Go
ahead.
But this one is for all the parents that they're trying to put, you know, the parents where the school system don't know how to gauge a kid.
The black parents.
Right. Okay. I didn't, Let's you know. Okay.
Let's go there.
This is for the black parents.
Yes.
Who are getting contacted by the schools because the schools don't know how to gauge their child's, you know.
Or they just trying to make us behavior problem kids.
Just slap a label on it instead of, you know, trying to figure out what makes that child tick and whatnot. But keep going, my brother.
Yeah, and so like my mom would tell me how she would tell me how like you would finish your work so fast and like be disturbing everybody else because I was bored. But it took my third grade teacher, Miss Bryant, like a black teacher. Right. She was like, he needs to be in an AIG. He needs to be in the AIG class. like academically intelligent, gifted. That's what they called it.
I was
like,
in the AG. I was in
you
AIG.
feel me?
Yeah, I was.
And so she was like, he needs to be in that. Like he needs a challenge. And so that's how I've always been. Like I remember telling my wife about this as we got older. Like in high school, for a bit of high school, I coasted because I used to get on AB honor roll all the time, man. But like when I figured out that I could just do a little bit just to get by,
right.
Bro, when I got in college,
right,
my freshman and sophomore year, I went like crazy. I think the second semester of my sophomore year, the tail end, and then my junior year, I was like, man, whatever. And then I realized, I could graduate with honors.
Right.
Let me kick it up a notch.
Did you graduate with honors?
Yeah, I did. So for me, it's like I like a challenge. And so I say all that to say like the aggressive, witty, confident Pat Jr., I would say the confidence really came back recently. We could talk about that, in the interview. But
when you say recently, you talking about now at this stage in your life?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would say just the aggressive, witty, rapping Pat Jr., I could do that. It's easy.
Okay.
Right? And so that's why I really started challenging myself to songwrite more and kind of build my versatility and talk about these different topics in my life. But it just so happens that a lot of people, I did a poll on Twitter and it was pretty balanced out, but like the aggressive, confident, witty Pat Jr. won by like 10%. But so like I did that poll just to see what people would say. And so he was like, that's the Pat Jr. that I enjoy listening to. And so he was like, I love it, all the other Pat Jr.'s, right, but that's the one that gets me hype. And so like I went into that mode for this project. And on the mixtape, there are some like
introspective joints.
There's some introspective.
Yeah,
There's treasure chest at the end that's very heartfelt and introspective.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most of this like project, in that moment where I was writing this project, I was just like, I don't give a fuck what people want.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what my fans want. I don't care about none of that.
I'm gonna do me.
I'm gonna do how I feel right now.
And if you just happen to jump on board, well, then guess what? We both happy. Right. Yo.
Right.
So look, I want to kind of scale back for a minute.
Okay.
I want to go back to college.
Okay.
What was your major, if you don't mind me asking?
English.
And
literature and a minor in writing.
Wow.
I wanted to teach.
Right.
I wanted to teach, and
but you ended up doing that anyway.
Wow.
You just didn't do it in a, you didn't do it traditionally.
Yeah.
You did it on your own, terms and whatnot.
I never thought about
so you
that
still
way.
did that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
And the fact that your major was English.
Yeah.
That means that diction, articulation, and pronunciation is very important to you.
That was something
and
big.
it comes out in your music without sounding like nerdcore. And I love nerdcore. That's not a shot at any nerdcore artist.
For sure.
I rocks with it, but you're not to the point where, and it's gonna add to the poll that you said that you took too.
Yeah.
You could do any kind of form of hip hop that you want to do, but you cannot. And I'm gonna say this to the camera.
Okay.
I don't care what type of artist you are.
Okay.
You cannot take the street element out of hip hop. You can't take the rebellion aspect out of it because hip hop was built off of rebel situations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Frustration, and that's what it was built off of. You can never take that element out of hip hop ever. You know what I'm saying?
That's a gem right there, bro.
So the fact that you got that 10% don't surprise me at all. You know? And so I guess we say that to say this. Grill talk is basically that's your way of saying, it's another way of saying shit talk, really.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's grill talk.
But I mean, it is, yes. But it's also, because I talked about this too at the listening, but it comes from a Bible verse that says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so
Now, how you gonna come with that after I just, you know what I'm saying, made an expletive,
Hey, but
on the Nah, but get into it, brother, for real.
Man, but what you just said.
We're gonna touch on it. I see where you're going. I'm gonna get you there. I got you.
What you just said,
yeah.
That's the nature. It's funny you said that.
Yes, sir.
Because that's the nature of who I am.
Right.
My homie Suede, shout out to my homie Suede.
Yep.
Southpaw Suede, incredible rapper, producer, artist in general. I love that. That's my brother, man.
Right.
He said this project is the most authentic you, and that's been the common thread,
right?
Like of the conversation surrounding this of people who know me too.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, what's so dope about this is that you'll have a bar talking about you having sex with your wife.
Yes, sir.
And then not too long afterwards, you'll have something from a godly perspective.
Yes, sir.
That you, like a bar after
yes,
that.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And so he said, or you'll use profanity in one line,
right,
and then like big up God in the next
right,
line. And it's like, but that's who I am.
Yeah.
That's true. And I also think like I've come so far in my faith.
Yeah.
Where it's like I love Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But also like I'm just a human, a regular human being.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I've explored, I know what my freedoms are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've, you know me, we've talked about this over the years. You know where I came from, the church I came from.
That's what I wanted to touch on, but you got there before I could get there. So now that we're here, you know, wow, man, I was gonna gradually, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to, I think when we first met, I think you was either, and I say this respectfully, like this is not a shot at any, you know, movement or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I respect all cultures as long as it's positive. So any movement that's trying to be positive and whatnot, I'm all for it. But you know, some movements have their stipulations and their guidelines and stuff like that.
Toxic.
Okay. But I think when I first met you, I wasn't sure if you was a CHH artist. And for those who don't understand what CHH is, that's Christian hip hop. I didn't know if you was coming from that angle. I don't even remember how we really met. But I know when I met you, you know, it was kind of.
I'm trying to hold back. I made a face because I'm trying to hold back. I want to say something.
Well, it's all. I mean, it's, you know.
No, I ain't talking about your perspective.
Right.
I'm talking about the whole CHH.
I don't want you to go too deep, but this is what I do want to say. Am I right in saying that at one point you was kind of involved in that community?
I would say this. I wanted to. I would say I was trying to find a space where I could be involved.
Okay.
And I felt like that was the closest space that I could be involved because I was one of them dudes that, because there was a few dudes around that time that we talked about. One in particular was Eshawn Burgundy,
right,
because I loved how he rapped about his life, but it was from a godly perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It
was from, you know, a Christian perspective, and it was never explicitly gospel. It was just like, this is my life and this is God in my life.
Right.
It was, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't so Jesus every bar.
Right.
And so I loved that about him. And that was one of the cats that I could actually relate to because that's how I was approaching my music. And I would say from a literature standpoint, C.S. Lewis, when we think about his writings, the Lion, Witch, and her Wardrobe, that is fantasy or fiction that comes from a biblical perspective.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So he created fiction, but created it in such a metaphorical way where it reflects, like it kind of shows what the gospel is, but in a fictional way.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So that was my approach to music, where it's like, you may not hear me talk about God all the time, but it's coming from how the Lord impacts my life.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think in that time, I was trying to find a space to fit in, and that was the closest. So I thought.
I mean, on the outside looking in, it seems like a very good space. The only problem is, and I'm gonna tell you my experience, because There was a time where people was, asking me, was I a Christian hip hop artist? And I always tell them no, but I'm a hip hop artist that loves and put Christ to the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not labeled, you know what I'm saying? Because
and there's a difference.
I'm just not,
there's a difference.
But I think I used to listen to this DJ Wade-O.
Okay,
he play a bunch of he play. I used to go to work weekends and I put his and he's a very good DJ. Oh my gosh, play nothing but Christian hip hop. And this ain't the bash or anything, but I'm telling you what I was noticing from my experience. Yeah. Like some of the jams, man, it's like okay, yeah. But a lot of it really wasn't sticking to my ribs because it sounded like the stuff that was on the radio. So therefore, a lot of it lacked.
Drake, is that you?
a lot of it that I was.
J. Cole, is that you?
A lot of it that I was hearing. A lot of it that those guys don't lack soul though, because it's like
no, I'm just saying
they're being themselves.
When you hear that,
right?
You be like, wait a minute, Drake, is that you?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. These guys still listening to the radio, yo. Like, there's no way. Why am I hearing Dipset in a? Why am I hearing a Dipset reference in a gospel song?
There's a lot. There's this one dude.
And like I said, man, look.
No. Look, let's keep it 100%.
Right.
This is one dude. He was in the realm of CHH.
Right.
An incredible artist, man.
Yeah.
My homie Jay Givens.
Oh, he's dope too. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And because he was signed to the Humble Beast Camp, and I love
them guys was dope too, bro.
Well, I was linked up with Steele before he got signed to Humble Beast.
Daniel Steele.
Yeah. Before, that's the big homie. That's my mentor. And so Jay Givens had this song called Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it was talking about.
Right.
People in the industry, specifically some of the people in Christian hip hop.
Right.
Y'all sound like clones of what's already out right now.
Seriously.
And it's like, if we supposed to be set apart and different,
right?
How y'all not being innovative? Y'all sound like everybody else,
right?
Like, it's not a thing of being influenced, because people can have many influences. Like, I was in Chicago, and I do my best to, like, I'm influenced by many genres of art, not just music, right? But like, that's how I approach my music. But it's very rare. I've had 2 people in my whole time of doing music that was able to pick out and say, you're influenced by Royce the 5'9".
Oh my God, I never told you that, bro. But I always thought that. I was bugging, though.
There's not many people
I was bugging. I was like, yo, he just reminds me of Royce for some reason, dude.
A lot of people can't pick that up, but I am influenced by him.
God,
right?
Man. Right.
But I think it's so dope when people say that, because a lot of people, I don't sound like anybody.
This is early Pat Junior though. This is early Pat Junior. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, I've always put you between, and I'm sorry to interrupt what you was explaining, but I've always say, okay, he reminds me of Royce. He got a tone like Big Boy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I ain't never heard that one.
That's Big Boy. Yeah, you got a tone like Big Boy. It's like if Royce and Big Boy was put together, but you got your own thing going with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's dope.
And I've always felt that. I'm like, yo, he definitely got it.
Yeah,
it's definitely he definitely got what it takes, man. My nickname for you is Leader of the New School. Man, you know what I'm saying? Because
that's love, man.
because you bring a fresh new format. You keep your lyricism at the forefront. Yeah. Like, lyricism is so important to you, and cadence and delivery. Yeah. It's like you got all the ingredients of a dope MC. Man. But at the same time, you remain innovative. Yeah. And it's a lot of younger cats that's coming up, especially in our community. A lot of the younger artists, they look to you. They didn't say it out of their own mouths, but I see some of the moves that they're making, and I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know that you talk to a few of them too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them keep you, you know what I'm saying, close by for guidance and whatnot. Absolutely. That's why I call you. I'm like, okay, Pat Junior. That's one of our leaders of the new school and whatnot. And I learn a lot from you myself.
Man.
Without even
that's crazy.
telling you.
Man, that's crazy.
Without even studying
that,
you.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I learned some stuff from you too, man.
Yeah.
Like, and we're gonna jump into that.
Yeah, for sure.
As the interview go on, man. But can you get back to what you was?
But not like it. Like I was saying, I do my best to. One of my homies my homie Lizzie put me on this book called "Still Like an Artist."
Right.
And
I heard that book.
Yeah. And so it's like still from many different genres of art, but in stealing or being influenced by many different genres, like find your voice.
Right.
And so that's been a journey for me.
A mid-journey.
You said that again?
A mid-journey. Did you get the reference? Only the real ones gonna get what just happened,
fire,
yo.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, bro.
But it's funny you say that because It's like I've done my best and I've struggled with it too because, and this is not a slight to anybody, but I have done my best to be the best self and be the best me, but I've also like be the most authentic me, but I've struggled with it too because I've noticed how other artists have quickly ascended because they sound like somebody else. Like they're easily placed on a playlist or whatever, or this person sounds like this. If you like this rapper, right, you'll like this person. Yeah. And it's like Attack of the Clones, man. You sound like other people. Like I visibly, like me and my homie, my another brother of mine, my homie the Deep End, we was like having a conversation.
What up, Deep?
Yeah, incredible, bro.
Oh no, you ain't gotta tell me.
Yeah,
like
you already know.
I already know, bro.
And we was having a conversation, and it's just certain artists that we've seen like on the rise, and it's like, hey, yo, like bar for bar, word for like you literally sound like this person. And it's like, I struggle with that because it's like you sound dope and the lyrics, the beat, the cadence and all that, like it sounds great, but it's literally Attack of the Clones, bro. Like,
but you know what? Hip hop has always been like that, man.
Really?
Yeah. Hip hop has always been like that. I can give you examples, but I will sound old as you know what I'm saying. Nah, man. For
help me understand.
Finster, you wanna go down this road with me, man? Like
give me an example of what you've seen, because it's new to me, but obviously it sounds like it's been a thing that's been going on.
No, it's been going on forever, man. Okay, like for example, when Das Effects, a hip hop group, came out back in the day.
I know you're talking about.
They used to rhyme iggity biggity, you know what I'm saying? That's how they used to rhyme. I mean, the fellas could really rap, you know what I'm saying? But that was their niche into the game. Okay. But for a minute, they had every other artist coming out, iggity biggity biggity, you know what I'm saying? Twister. Okay. Right? You had Twister first. You know who Twister is. I know who Twister is. Legend. Twister, Chicago Legends. You might be familiar with him from, Do or Die, or when he was with Kanye.
That's when I got on.
Nah, Twister came out when Twister first came out. Twister came out in I got familiar with Twister in like the late 80s. Okay. Right? He was tongue twister. Okay. Because he was just like the fastest rapper or whatever. But look what happened. Like later on, you had Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I'm saying? Rapping just like that. You had Jazzo. You know what I'm saying? Jazzo probably will say that he was the first one to do it, but and you know what? He might be. It's kind of, I couldn't tell you who the first one was to do it.
When they first started, they sounded just like
yeah. Like Migos is Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I'm saying? It's always been. I
can see the influence.
Yeah, that's influence, but we want to talk about direct, and I use this example in my last episode of the podcast that hasn't come out yet. So I don't want to think that I'm trying to pick on certain artists, but MC Shan, right? There was an artist, MC Shan, back in the day. There was an artist that came out in this MC Shan named Cool C. But Cool C sounds exactly like MC Shan. You know what I'm saying? Like that's stuff like that has always been in hip hop. To me, to me in my world, and these are my old ears or whatever. I can't tell the difference between a B.I. and a Ice Spice. They sound the same to me.
Really?
That's no disrespect, but they sound the same to me. You know what I'm saying? You know,
that's dope that you familiar though.
I mean, but that's how much I love the music. Like I always keep, and you know, I DJ. I always keep my ear. Yeah. I just always keep my ear to the street.
I never. Until you said something, I never correlated the two.
Yeah, I mean,
when I'm thinking,
but that's just me, you know. Like, you know, it's just I'm not trying to, you know, play either one of them and say it all sounds the same. But it's always gonna be a congruent artist to whoever is out hot now. Yeah. You know, wait till you know, expand more throughout the years. Like, it's gonna be people trying to sound like you and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
I think for me. And that's funny you said that. But I for me, I guess going back to what I was saying, I've done my best to find my voice.
And you found it.
And I feel like to bring it back with this mixtape, I feel like I finally really found my voice. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? And not to say in my previous, because all of my previous projects, I'm not saying that every project from now on is going to sound like Grill Talk, but what I'm saying as a whole, right? You know, my heart as a whole, I've really found my voice, and I have this newfound sense of confidence that I've never had before. And that was a God thing, man. Like, last year, like, God really sat me down. I was supposed to go to Art Basel in Miami. It was going to be full paid trip, everything taken care of. God was like, nah, you finna stay home and write music. And I was like, yes, sir. You know, and so, but what's funny was I needed to hear that. I needed to feel that. I needed to get that command, because that whole year, because I was so tapped into like the Web3 stuff and the NFTs and all that. Yes, sir. Like, I was so focused on, I pivoted and I was so focused on that for some time that I wasn't really doing what I was designed to do.
Bro, it would, you know, I went down that rabbit hole myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason that I love talking to you, because it's like, see, that's the thing, bro. You're such an innovative MC, right? Yeah. It's like I definitely like looked at the Web3 stuff and the NFT stuff, you know, all that stuff. But you looked at it and you figured out how to apply it to music. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this guy is so on top of like this guy. I don't want to. I mean, I know you don't want to seem like the guru or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is, you always trying to find a way to correlate, you know.
I mean, bro, like, this full-time music thing, like, and I think that's what separates me too, like,
because you got the gift of having full time.
This is my job, yo. Like, so I have to. My mom is a hustler. Like, she works hard. Right. Like, my mom is a hard worker, and that's what I know from seeing her. Right. I've watched her being a single parent. Then, of course, she got married and had my sister or whatever. But then, you know, they split up. Right. But I've watched her for the majority of my life making ends meet for a long time. Right. Like, knowing how to pivot, knowing how to, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that's what I know. And in this music industry, being a full-time artist, and I think a lot of people don't understand that about me either. Like, this is my job, bro.
So you got to you have to explore every option and whatnot.
Bro, it's like, this is like, even in that realm, I think a lot of people didn't understand that. Like, when I was there, like, y'all got jobs. Yeah. Like, yes, sir. You have a job a salary job. No disrespect to that. No, I
understand.
All.
I understand what you're saying.
Y'all got jobs. This is literally I have to find the work. I have to, and thank God who brings me to work, but there's still an effort that I have to make to actually find the work and make the money. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so Web3 was a way for me to pivot to make some extra money for my home, because ultimately it's like.
So you had some success stories with the Web3.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good, like, good. I made some money there, but I feel like and this is a whole nother conversation. I don't want to get so I want to go so down far to that road. But the point that I'm trying to make is that like I got so wrapped up in doing that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what they do is, or a lot of what Web3 is, unfortunately, is social currency.
Right.
And not as much as about the music. And that's one thing one thing that I didn't like.
Right.
Is who can you talk to? What kind of relationships can you build? What founders can you like? It's a lot of that. And for me, I was already dealing with that in what they call Web 2. What me and you do is like we put the music out, we perform, So it was like, I'm already doing that. I don't want to do that on another level in the niche like realm.
Right.
And then I'm losing focus on the music. And so I was supposed to go to Art Basel, shake some hands, meet some people, have conversations.
Is that what Art Basel was? Art
Basel is beyond the Web3.
Okay.
It's bigger than that. But that's where a lot of like Web3 people go to Art Basel to make connections, to do a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
But for me, I was set on going there and shaking hands and because they say like, that's how you kind of build your success in Web3 is like meeting people face to face, shaking hands, having conversations. That's how you build your community. You see my face.
I got you.
That's how you build your community to actually like get people to buy your work. Right. So I was like, okay. So I was set. And God was like, nah, you finna stay home. You finna write this music.
Right.
And that's what I did, G. And in a month's time, I cut like 12 records.
So
more than 12.
So can I ask you this?
But 12 that made it. What's up?
I should save this for off the air.
No, good. No.
But I'm gonna throw this out here.
Go ahead.
So when you say God stopped you from going, do you think He stopped you because it represented like Web3 kind of? And this is not an attack. This is just an opinion. So the views of K Hill do not represent the views of Pat Junior. I'm just asking you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think you say God stopped you from going? Do you think He stopped you because it represented the change? A part of the change that's gonna occur over the years that were discussed in like Revelations, where our currency start changing. You know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm talking about. Do you think it kind of
Nah, not at all.
Okay,
I think it was just more so of I was losing focus on what I needed to be doing.
Got you. I'm sorry I went that deep, bro.
Fine.
Like this is how
fine.
that's how my wheels turn and whatnot.
That's cool. Like. That's actually an interesting
take.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I gave you something to think about.
You got my wheels turning.
Word up. Okay.
But I wasn't focused in the right place.
You weren't focused on your gift.
I wasn't. And you know what's crazy? Like, when the Bible says that we were made in God's image.
Yeah.
It's like you can miss layers of that, of what that means.
Right.
And I discovered on a deeper like level, when you think about it, I was talking about like just with different people over time during this time. It's like when you are not doing what God called you to do. Now, don't get me wrong, like I am many things. It's not just my music.
Okay.
I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a friend, I'm a mentor, I'm all these different things, right? But God gives us gifts, right? And talents to walk out. He gives us passions.
Right.
When you are not doing a passion or your passion for some time, your energy start changing.
Right.
You start getting irritated. You get depressed a little bit. You get angry. Like you start feeling all of these negative emotions because you're not exercising the passion that God gave you.
Is that what it is?
That's bro. Like it dawned on me like
right.
I haven't really written any music lately.
And when I say is that what it is, that's not me mocking you.
No, I know. No,
that's me saying, Dad, that's why I feel like this. You know what I'm saying? So
it's when you step away from that too far, that's what happens. And so, like, I needed him to tell me that because I was trying to do. I've become over time. I was talking to my wife about this. I've become such an expert at the pivot.
Yeah.
I'm good at the pivot.
Right. And explain to people what the pivot is.
So when I say the pivot, like, because I've been doing music full time, being able to pivot and see when something is not working, figuring out how something else can work. So some of the pivot for me was when I first started, I was doing videography. I was producing for other people, and I was doing my shows and still doing my music. But I was doing multiple things to bring in income. And when I was also doing Lyft and Uber. Right. So I was doing all of those things when I first started full time in 2016 to make ends meet. Right.
Rightfully so.
So what I discovered was like, man, I'm not really passionate about this video thing. I like the aspect of storytelling and script writing. And directing, but this ain't for me because I ain't got the patience to do it for other people. I'm going to drop this. You see what I'm saying? And so I had to pivot, and that's why for a couple of years I pivoted and I started the Pelham and Junior thing with my homie JP.
And we're going to get into that too,
and so so like for me, I've always been good, and Web3 was a pivot for me. Economy started changing. Business started changing, so I had to pivot and find another way to like build connection, but also make some money.
So you know how to you when you say pivot, you basically saying adapt.
Yeah, just adapt.
Shift for, you know.
I've been so good at that, but then I realized God was like, "You are great at the pivot, but I need you to be great at staying in one spot." Because I've always had to adapt, but God was like, "Nah, I need you to stay right here." And that was with my music.
Remain steadfast.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And so he that's what God made it very clear. You not going. Like you finna write, and I in the month of December, I cut more than 12, but 12 actually made it to the mixtape. Like I produced them in 1 month.
So you use your time very, very.
And some people say wow at that. Some people are like, oh man, when I go to the studio, I record like 20 songs. I'm like, bro, you not that. Okay, cool. But how many of them songs actually going, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm very intentional with my writing. I know what I want to say.
Yeah.
I know how I want to say it. You know, I know how I want to present it. Sometimes I still figure it out in the process, but I think I am very much so of a creative director and my own executive producer. Shout out to all the people that have influenced that in my life, especially D Still. Like, I don't have to record 40 songs to get an album's worth of potent music. That's just not how it was built. Especially, I was big up in my mom that night. She also kind of helped design that part of me where it's like she taught me the importance of a black man knowing how to express himself and how to articulate how he feels.
I heard you say that, man.
Yeah.
I also heard you mention that your mother is actually the one that put you on to hip hop.
Yes.
And I in my head I was like, yo, that's crazy because my mother did the same thing for me.
That's beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know, what kind of you know hip hop was she on?
Man, a Tribe Called Quest.
Wow.
Definitely, you know, Biggie and Pac. She was more so of a Biggie fan though.
And
I maybe it's because she's from Brooklyn. Maybe it's a Brooklyn thing, but she just said I just appreciated Biggie more. She liked Tupac for like him being poetic, but Biggie, I think it was just a Brooklyn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, De La Soul.
So she like really tapped in,
bro.
Wow.
But also she put me on to a lot of R&B, like Blackstreet.
You don't want to have this conversation, boy.
Man, but and then then it was orchestral music. Like, she put me on to a lot of classical music. You know what I'm saying? Jazz. Gospel for sure. It was a plethora, but she definitely introduced me to hip hop, man.
That's what's up, man.
And really put me on. And so, when I tell people in that month of December that I did like 12 records and produced like half of them, they was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And God really met me, bro. Like, very intentional. Like, I was in tears, brother. Like, so much so, because you know how, like, believers, Christians, like, you know how some people would, and we've talked, this has been a conversation in the past amongst believers, but people be praying for their team to win in, like, leagues and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like,
Right.
God don't care about that.
Right.
But that's how I felt God looked at my music.
Right.
I felt like,
You felt like it was
it was just, he ain't care about that.
Right.
And God was like, he showed me I do.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Have you ever for lack of a better way to describe it,
Yeah.
you ever had a bucket list or a checklist of things that you wanted to do musically and prayed about them?
Yeah.
Not even really just prayed about them, just being obedient and put it out in the air.
Wait a minute, you just said a word, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You just said a word.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever made a checklist and just over the years went back to look at that checklist and seen how everything just manifested?
I never have. You know why?
Go ahead.
Because the way, when I tell you, man, that whole experience was something heavy in December of last year, I'll never forget it, bro.
Right.
Ever. I'm talking about, I ain't never cried so much in one season of my life about my music.
Right.
Like, went through the emotions and everything. And I never have done that because the church that I came up in never really instilled in me or made it okay or taught me it was okay to have faith for myself. I've had faith for so many other people.
Right.
Right. But I've never had, until starting a few years ago, I've never had any truly big ambitions for myself.
Right.
Because it was, oh man, whatever the Lord wills, and I'm just a lowly servant. I'm just like, nah, bro.
You took it to heart.
Like, no, that's how I live my life.
Right.
Oh man, nah, man. And don't get me wrong, I'ma always give honor and glory to the Lord. But also, what I realized too is that God is not just a commander in chief. He's not just someone that gives me my marching orders. God is also my father. Right. And I never understood that. Like, me and another incredible artist, I think I told you, like, probably, well, he is like my favorite rapper, Shad K.
Right. From Canada.
Yeah.
He had a dope documentary on Netflix, yo. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know what's funny too?
What's
Shout
up?
out to my wife, because I was watching one of the seasons of the documentary, and at the top of 2019, I remember telling my wife, I gotta meet this dude. And she made it happen.
Now back to the question about my checklist. Have you ever had a checklist?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
but
saying?
I'm talking about, like, big ambitions,
right,
man, for myself.
Right.
Like, never, not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot because of me. So me and Shad, funny you said that, bringing full circles, me and Shad were having a recent conversation about where God has brought me. We was talking and he was just like, I was telling him, like, how I see myself, like, having faith for the things I desire in life, and realizing it's nothing wrong with those desires because I have been accountable with my mentors, bringing it to God, and God showing me there's nothing wrong with desiring this because I gave you this desire, right?
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, man, God is our Father. He wants to see us joyful.
Right.
What father doesn't want to see? A good father wants to see their child happy and joyful.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna tell you what I think the misunderstanding came from. And I'm not gonna get too deep.
No, go ahead.
I'm telling you what what I'm saying.
This is a regular
the views of K Hill do not reflect, But anyway, I think the problem with asking God for certain things, especially black people, is the way that Christianity, I'm just going to say Christianity, the way that Christianity was introduced to us. You know what I'm saying? It was introduced to us to humble us, to put us in line. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't introduced to us for us to be kings, and ask for, you know what I'm saying, the things that we want and whatnot.
It was presented to us in a very toxic,
that's what I'm saying,
false way.
Right.
And you know what we did?
We ran with it for years.
The black church has ran with it for years. Because what happened was, from slavery, once we got free,
right, and
we started building our own communities and churches,
right,
we took what we learned,
right,
and ran with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how we was that. Well, that's how I know, and ran with it.
And anything that was different.
But the thing is like the problem in that. There's a problem in that. Is that the black church has traumatized so many people, myself included.
Church hurt.
Myself included.
That what you would call church hurt?
Like in so many different. I mean, I've shared this story. I've told this story, and I'm being more vocal about it, especially now in my life.
Right.
My old pastor stood me up in front of like 2,000 folk and rebuked me for rapping. You remember I told you about this?
You've never told me about that.
I thought I did.
No, you never told me about that.
My old pastor stood me up, and this is why I need to be vocal about it, in front of like 2,000 folk and rebuked me for rapping. And at the time, when I was rapping, I was doing more, I guess, explicitly Christian music.
Right.
Where it was like more
like you going hard into God and whatnot.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he didn't take the time to listen to your content.
No, he did.
He did listen to the content.
His
okay.
issue was the
way
vehicle,
you delivered it.
The vehicle.
Right.
It was just like, well, we don't get down with that hip hop and rap stuff. You going to school to be this and do that. You ain't finna be on BET, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I'm 18, just turned 18 at the time.
Right.
You ain't. Let me say this too. Some people may know what I'm talking about. Some people not. You ain't even handled it according to how the scriptures say to handle it. If you got an alt with your brother, you go with him in private and you have the conversation with him first. If he offended you, you just stood in front of the pulpit. Even if I did something wrong, which I didn't, you stood in front of the pulpit and just suplexed me off the top turnbuckle.
Right.
Like in front of hundreds of people.
And that's the problem.
Because you didn't like the way I did it.
It ain't even just that, man. Like, and I'm ready to have this conversation with any clergy member or whatever. He wanted to be the star.
Oh no, absolutely.
He wanted to be the star.
Absolutely.
It looked like somebody was about to, it's the story of Saul and David. You know what I'm saying? He threw the spear at your head. You know what I'm saying? He had to send you, into exile so you could think for a minute and figure out another way to come back. And you came back harder.
But the thing is, though, that was at 18. I stayed there for another 4 years
because that's the way you was conditioned. You know what I'm saying?
Going back to that's how they were conditioned.
Right.
Like the early black church.
Right.
Before that's how they were conditioned.
Right.
And it's like I remember having conversations with older people in the black church. It's just like, yeah, like that's how we were taught, is whatever the pastor is, like the father, the daddy of the church, and whatever he say, it goes.
Right.
And it's like, well, what about what the script? No, whatever he says,
right.
goes.
Right.
Don't matter what the Bible says.
Okay, so you have finally answered my question on how you like what kind of help you make the transition from the CHH, audience and whatnot. I could kind of understand with everything that you've explained about the music, the background and stuff like that. It helps me understand why you are where you are right now.
It's not even just that. I think earlier on, I just realized that this ain't for me.
Right.
Because I'm too much of a creative. My homie, he was there that night. My homie, Jerry Blackwell.
Yeah.
I bigged him up because he's one of the two dudes that helped me become a better rapper.
Right.
And then and my other guy, you actually you're related to him by marriage.
Okay.
Jans.
My brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My homie Jans.
Mm-hmm.
Those two dudes helped me become a better rapper.
Yeah.
And And Jerry, when me and Jerry linked up, he was one of them dudes that rapped about life from a Christian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it always intrigued me. And I just realized I was just like, hey, man, if I'm going to have a conversation with somebody about God, I'd rather unpack it in the conversation and not in my music.
Right.
Like, I want to use this as an expression. And that's a freedom I have to express. And so I just realized, too, it's too cliquish, man.
That okay.
For us,
you summed it up. You really summed it up. You summed it up.
For us to be believers,
right?
And it's y'all too cliquish, and y'all sound like, you know what? This ain't for me, bro. We ain't cut from the same cloth,
right?
And I just started doing things in a more freer way. If we being real about it,
right?
You know?
Oh, okay. So while we sitting here having
man,
like,
this is dope, man.
I mean, no, it's fine. It's fine. Look,
this is dope. This
so while
fire,
we sitting here having real talk right now, right? I kind of want to shift a little bit. I mean, we still gonna stay in our realm, but I kind of want to like, I don't want to get too deep.
No, man, let's. But
I need, the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know which question to ask first, man. Cause wow. Hopefully we'll meet up somewhere in the middle. Two things our culture as black people run from.
Okay.
We don't want to discuss life insurance.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because that means you have to acknowledge death.
Yeah.
And responsibility and whatnot. We hate having that conversation, but it's something that has to be talked about and put in place. And we don't like to talk about therapy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But one thing that sticks out about you as an artist is you encourage therapy. Yeah. You have had therapy. You might be in therapy right now.
I am.
And just knowing you from when I first met you to where you are now, I can definitely see a change. Even though you was never a bad person as far as I can see. For sure. But I could definitely see the benefits of having therapy for you.
Yeah.
Can you explain to anybody, even me, somebody that just has a lot going on up here, and how to have the confidence to not just push it out to somebody else, but eventually get to the point where you could push it out to the world.
Right.
How do you get to that point? And when did you think it was necessary?
Okay. I think the point for me that led me to going to get therapy was in late 2020. Me and my wife had a huge falling out to the point where in 2021 I was ready for divorce, bro.
Okay. And
so like we are so much better than, and that's a whole nother story, man. Like, man, you touching on some really good topics, bro.
Let's go, because it's some people that need to hear this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That instance, like that happening, pushed me, because like there was some, and our falling out was nothing to do with like infidelity, but it was more so of. And I kind of touched on it on Treasure Chest.
Right.
In the beginning, if you listen, there's a chess like game, like board game, like chess reference that I make. I never had to tell my queen that she failed me, but checkmate ain't something you could bail, king. So me lovingly checking her and holding her accountable, she never really grew up in a home where she was challenged to be accountable for her actions.
Right.
Like, of course she would get corrected from doing right and wrong, but there was never this is how you apologize. This is how you make things right. She would just get in trouble, and then the next day, or the next hour or so, everything was okay.
Right.
There was never a process of reconciliation. And that's something I grew up with.
Right.
And so for years, I tried to show her that, you know what I'm saying? But it was never really received, you know, in the beginning, and then it kind of was, and then at one point I just in the beginning I would nitpick everything, right, and then it was like, okay, pick and choose your battles. And then after some time, because, and I'm open and honest about this, like we've talked about it and we share this, but there was a lot of gaslighting involved from her to me.
Right.
And I didn't even know what gaslighting was.
Man, listen, when I found out what it was, wow. Bruh. But go ahead.
All I knew was you making me feel crazy, and I know I'm not crazy for what I'm saying, right? And so I'm glad I can laugh about that.
Hey, what I'm saying, man. We love you, baby. We love you.
No, but she's cool with it.
I'm laughing because you remember when I told you earlier, and I say this on camera. Yeah. I said, man, I never had a good conversation with Tam, man, but she just reminds me of my wife, man, for some reason. Like it's like I could read her and she ain't even got to say nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's not saying nothing bad at all, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny though, man. But go ahead.
Nah, man. And so, but yeah, like she never really knew how to take. It was a lot of pride that was involved. Oh, yeah. And so there was some point in our timeline of being married where I just tapped out and I was just like, it is what it is. Right. This is just normal married life. So I thought. Right. And I want to say a few years, maybe 2 or 3 years prior to our falling out happening, I really started to stand 2 toes or 10 toes down, like firm on, nah, this ain't okay. This is not cool. Right. I don't like this feeling. You're not taking responsibility for it. We was getting into it a lot, like in a span of like 2 years. And then, and I won't go because that's a whole nother
I'm about to say, don't take it, you know what I'm saying?
But the incident that happened, because I don't mind sharing it, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
It's cool.
The incident that happened that made us falling out, it was like, in the moment, felt like I was like, when it happened, I was like, okay, either I can say something about this. Right. And it's going to be a whole lot of excuses given and a whole argument and then a whole, oh, you lecturing me and all that stuff. You making excuses, you not taking accountability. Or I cannot say anything about this and just take it, bro. Just take it. Right. Just take it. Don't say nothing. Keep it moving. Keep the peace. It was...
suppressed.
It was suppressed. Right. It was Christmas Eve, too. So we were supposed to go to my mom's. That day, we were supposed to go to my mom's house, hang out with her, and then go be with her parents on Christmas Day. It's like, bro, and something was like, nah, nigga, like, you need to say something about this shit. Don't suppress this. You can't. Like, and it's not good for me to suppress because what runs in the family, even though I don't have a solid relationship with him, is my dad. He's got a bad temper. So for me to suppress something and then finally say something, like, I'm going to go off. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I was like, you know what? And because at one point I got numb to it, bro. Just got numb to it. But I was like, okay, I need to say something. And so I said something, of course. You know, option A was a lot of excuses. And, bro, when I tell you I broke down, I literally, like, what my therapist described was an emotional breakdown. I broke. Like, imagine how many shots it takes to get through bulletproof glass. But that was me for over 10 years, 11 years, just taking it. And then I finally shattered. And I had an emotional breakdown. And all I remember really in that moment was I left. I left the house. We were staying here. I left without saying nothing. And I got in the car and I just started driving. And at first I didn't know where I was going, but then I realized I was driving to my mom's house. Right. And so she had called my mom and, you know, was kind of telling her like I made him upset, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, we ended up being with my mom. And during that whole time, man, like, even after that, like, because, like, how old folks say, like, the saying is, you know how to take a licking and keep on ticking? I've watched my mom do that.
Right.
Go through painful things for like a day or so, and then be right back to who she felt like she needed to be for me, and her family.
Right.
And so I was so used to dealing with pain like that, to where it was like, I'll go through something, okay, cool, I'm upset about it, and then the next day,
suppress.
2 days later, suppress it. Like, I'm good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Without really fully processing it all the way. And I just remember in that moment, I could not suppress it
anymore.
I couldn't suppress as much as I wanted to. It was like I had shattered, bro. Like, and that shattering needed to happen. So, and it was just like it was like a aftershock of all the years just coming, just smacking me all at one time. Yeah. All the pain. I was crying and crying. And I felt like at one point in this, I discourage anybody feeling this way, especially my black men, because this is how we were taught. I felt like in that, why you cry like you
don't
like
cry
like you cry like a bitch.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt. Like you crying, like why you a bitch, bro? Stop crying so much. And I just couldn't stop it. And in that moment, I realized I need therapy, man. There's some stuff here that I need to deal with. And I thought that when I went to therapy, I was just dealing with that. No, nigga, it's so much behind that you have to deal with. I'm finding out in a lot of the stuff that you hearing this new sense of me, a lot of this stuff I've been dealing with from 2.5 years of therapy. It's a new sense of confidence. It's non-tolerance of certain things. It's me. I literally have a song called Boundaries on this mixtape, right? Right. Me respecting people's boundaries for so many years, but not having boundaries on my own.
That was a sound bite from your interview at the joint. When you said it, I was like, wow.
Yeah, bro. Like, and so many, like, and I remember like within the first 3 months of, I remember I share this story. I won't say who. I love this nigga, but I won't say who. I did the Durham Bulls Beer Festival in 2021.
Okay.
I was one of the headliners for that joint.
Yep.
And somebody was like, yo, man, I didn't know how I was going to, like, I saw the new beer. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. You know what I'm saying? But it's dope. And I was like, and I wouldn't have cared how you felt about it. I said that back to them.
Right.
And they was just like, and I'm like, yeah, nigga, I'm a new nigga. You can't talk to me the same way.
This is where we at with
this
it.
This is Pat Junior 3.0, nigga. Nah, like, and it's just, but I say that to say, like, within 3 months, just 3 months and some change, I felt like a newer person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, nah, y'all niggas can't talk to me the same way, bro. You know what I mean? And so even now that I'm still healing with healing and dealing with some things, working through some things, processing some things, unlearning certain behaviors.
Yes, sir.
Because trauma comes with a lot of like learned behaviors that are like not healthy for your life.
Yes, sir.
And your mentality and your emotion. Like my emotional intelligence is a lot higher than it was before. Like, and shout out to my pastor too, because even before I started therapy in like 2018, 2019, my pastor was counseling me and helping me to become a better an emotional health, like a healthier in the emotional aspect, like emotionally healthier leader. I say it like that. He was helping me in that arena, but like therapy was like on such a broader scale of dealing with the issues and just the trauma that like unpacking those things.
You say your pastor was like he helped you with that a lot too?
So before therapy, like before all this stuff happened,
right,
in 2020, he was already walking with me like one-on-one.
Right.
And like from a spiritual aspect.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Not so much because he's not a therapist.
But you know,
from a spiritual aspect.
That's good though. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you just get the your breakthrough is on the way. Hold it down.
Man, shout out to Pastor Jerome, man. He great leader, man. He is my pastor, but he's also my big brother. Good, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He actually helped me leave the old church. And you know what he did too? When I left, he said, don't just leave. Have the conversation.
Right. Don't just walk away.
Don't just walk away. Have the conversation.
See, that's what I do, bro. Peace. I Sodom and Gomorrah the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? But that's not healthy though. But go ahead.
He was like, I always will respect him for that. Right. Because especially in churches, when something happens, or just in life. Right. We don't talk about, we're afraid of conflict. Right. Conflict is not a bad thing. Yeah. There is a difference between negative conflict and healthy conflict.
It's not a bad thing when you know that the other person can handle it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying the word, and people feel like conflict is a bad word. Yeah. It's not a bad word. Or we automatically think of negativity when we think of the word conflict. Right. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? I do. But it's like there is such thing as healthy conflict, and a lot of people don't realize that because where our minds and our hearts tell us to run away from it. I've always been a person to go towards it. Right. Even if it was negative, like, nigga, you about to hear me get my shit off. But I've always wanted, watching my family throughout the years, I've always wanted things to be resolved. Right. I've always was an advocate for reconciliation. Always.
Well, I mean, but at the same time,
it's not gonna happen with everybody.
When it's a learned behavior, it takes you a long time to realize it. Like me talking about how I walk away from stuff instead of directly dealing with it.
That's good self-awareness, though.
I get that from my mother. Like, my father didn't raise me. Yeah. He wasn't involved. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And instead of my mother dealing with it like she should have, and that's no shot at my mama because she did one hell of a job. She just walked away from the situation. Yeah. And I've learned how to just walk away from stuff instead of just, attacking it head on. You know what I'm saying? And I even talk to my mother now, like, Mom, like, let's deal with some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not avoid it. Let's deal with it. Right. And still learning that. Learning from brothers like you. Yeah. I told you that night when you had the conversation about accountability that it helped me repair a relationship that night.
That's beautiful, man.
With somebody that, you know what I'm saying, that I hold in high regard and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So I say this to say this right here, bro. Like, the musical vehicle and the platform vehicle that you use, man, like, you really, you know what I'm saying, you really giving people what they need, older or younger. Yeah, that's love, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, nah, man, you doing a heck of a job, man. Oh, she about to die? Okay. Oh, man.
I got you.
It's one of them new USB-Cs joint. No, wait a minute. No, it's not. iPhone. Yeah, iPhone. It's an iPhone, right? Yeah. Oh, it's in the red? Yeah, man. I mean, we're talking too much, yo. But nah, man. I was hoping you weren't gonna have to do too much editing, fam. But word. She back. Oh yeah, that's magic sound. Here we go. Nah, man, but like I was saying, man, whether you know it or not, you know what I'm saying, you're really helping a lot of people. Even when I came to your listening session that night, it was people out there from all walks of life, man. Black, white, Indian, you know what I'm saying, different ethnicities. Yeah. I think that's dope. But a lot of them, man, like even the type, I seen spiritual leaders out there, publicists out there.
My church was out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was dope, man. It was dope to see all, I see. You know what?
Two of my pastors was out there.
Two of your pastors was, you know what? One of them I knew was a pastor, and you ain't even got to tell me who it was. I just felt it.
Really?
My man, he had locks.
Yeah.
I knew that. Wow. I don't know how I knew that. It's just like, when we introduced ourselves to each other, and then he shook my hand. It was something I said, and he just came up, shook my hand, and it was just something. It was an energy he gave off. I was like, yo,
man, that's KO. That's
that's exactly who it was.
Him and then the white guy Sandy.
Okay.
Those are their pastors at the church, and man, those are my guys, man. I love them, man.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like it goes to show the type of support that you're getting.
And they was there hearing the music and the content, the way I was delivering, and they was just like, "Right thing, bro."
That's what's up, man.
With the profanity, right? Even my pastor has said this. He was just like, cause he was like, man, I want to be able to play your music anytime. And I said, man, I know, right, but I know I don't make music for everybody.
Well, he know you're not out here promoting trash.
And that's what he said. He said the reason why he said I rock with it is because you're not glorifying anything negative. Right. He was like, you use profanity, but you're just expressing yourself. Mm-hmm. And he was like, and that's fine. He was like, do I wish I could play your music in church settings more? He was like, yeah. He said, right. He said, but I appreciate the message, and I appreciate the world, the godly worldview that you present in your music. And I said, hey, my man, like, I appreciate that.
Man, look, sometimes you got matter of fact, overall, especially when you still promote your spirituality and stuff like that, with this world, man, you got to Trojan horse the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to roll up in there, looking like something else.
I mean, if we keeping it a buck, bro, like, didn't Paul say become all things?
I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? But you want to help people that don't have that understanding. But you have to speak. You got to speak their language.
People
where they at. That's right.
Like, I mean, bro, let's keep it 1,000. And people don't Jesus was the same way. He met people where they were.
And to keep it a buck,
like a person.
In your defense, you still ain't went all the way there where you could go. You could really go there, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you still got a boundary. So to anybody that try to attack your music and say that you're doing too much, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, they can't. With the state of music now, where music is now, you ain't even scratched the surface of where you could be going, like, as far as like worldly or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild out here now, bro.
It is.
And you haven't. You still, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, because I first and foremost, before anything, man, I love the Lord. Like, before everything.
All day.
And, but then also I also realized too, within that, I represent different people. I represent my wife. Right. I represent, my team. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I represent people like you. You know what I'm saying? Just the things that you share with me, the things that I've learned from you over the years. It's like how I look going out here being something that I'm not.
Right.
Like, I grew up, like, in the beginning stages of my life, like, I grew up around some of that, you know what I'm saying? Some of, like, hood politics, I'll say. Right. But I don't know that life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm a civilian, bro.
Yeah, look, listen.
And it ain't nothing wrong with
that.
I
do know that life, but I don't know that life because I was in that life. I know it because it was around me. I seen it. I know it. So. But I wasn't, man. Mama protected me, bro. Same thing. That's why every time you big your mother up at the event, you
feel that, you resonate.
I felt that,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and the fact that she's a fan and whatnot, man, and and I had the pleasure of meeting your mom, and I was taken aback, bro. I really was, because I was like, dang, she like a queen, man. You know what I'm saying, your mom is your queen, but I was just thrown back. I don't know what I was expecting, man. I'm like, dang, bro, like, okay, mama, you know what I'm saying, so but man, real quick, while I have the opportunity, man. I kind of wish Justin was here, so y'all can kind of build off of each other. But it's all good. Pelham and Junior, bro. Man. Wow. Yeah. Wow, bro.
I remember you called me one time and you said, hey, look, man. You said, so you was like, when it comes to businesses, right? Like, there's such thing that you was like, there's this term called supply and demand.
Oh my God!
And
bro.
you was like,
Go ahead.
You said, like, so you meaning to tell me, because you got people that make cars,
right?
You know what I'm saying, and manufacture cars,
right?
And then you have mechanics, and then you have people that own gasoline stations,
right?
That you need gas to drive.
You need gas to drive.
And you said y'all figured out a way to make gas.
I think you're paraphrasing a little bit, but I definitely said something like that.
Bruh,
like you guys make the parts.
Something
like
said
that.
The gasoline.
Okay.
And that makes, but
right.
I mean, when you think about it, you say y'all figured out how to make the gasoline for producers, man.
Crazy, bro.
I remember you said that, and I was like, wow, I never thought of it that way.
Bro. You hit the other side of the game. So to the audience who don't know or whatever, but if you know Pat, y'all already know, Pelham and Junior is a sound design company.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah. A
sound design company. They put out sound packs.
Yeah.
There you go. Some of them royalty free.
Yes.
So you ain't, we'll never get away from the art of sampling records.
Right.
But they're giving you original compositions that you could chop up, you know what I'm saying, and use for your joints. Yep. And I done used some of their stuff, man. Sir. Like, oh my God, man. They got some, you guys got some dope stuff.
Thank you, man.
But it's not just the, like you've actually had some dope opportunities and met some incredible people.
Man.
From that company. Do you want to talk about it, bro?
We can.
I'll tell one of them.
Not.
I looked up one day, bro. I'm scrolling on the gram. I see my man Pat in the studio with Hit Boy, yo. Why did I go straight to Hit Boy? Because, man, dope producer, has been on an incredible run.
Let me tell you something about Hit Boy,
please, man. Bro.
First of all, shout out to Hit Boy. I want to say this, man. Like, he is one of the humblest dudes, bro. Like, and you know how the music industry is. The people that you run into, you never know what people's character is going to be like, but he is one of the humblest dudes that you'll come across in the music industry. And like he used one of our royalty-free samples
for a Nas album.
No. First, it was for the Kalani joint. Then that's how we linked.
That's right.
That's how we linked. So it was Kalani and Dom Kennedy.
Wow.
And I reached out to him because he used it, and I reached out to him, and I was just like, let me just see like what he going. So I was like, yo, man, I appreciate you using one of our joints.
Right.
I'm the co-owner of Pelham and Junior, man. Thank you so much. Like that was really dope for you to like just, rock with our stuff. And he hit me back. He said, yo, man, that's you? I was like, yeah, that's me and my partner, like me and my homie JP. He said, bruh, y'all shit is fire, man. He said, yo, man, let's work. Like, I was like, okay. I said, you want me to email you? Like, how do you? He said, here's my number.
Well, I know you just.
I said, oh. And Hit Boy is one of my favorites.
That's why I was like, I know.
So I was a little nervous in the beginning. I was just, because like, and the thing that I love about Hit Boy was, and I say this now, like, I promise I'm not doing this to flex or name drop.
Yeah.
But when he raps, I shoot him a text like, man, I want to hear more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rapping Hit Boy. And he like, even to this day, he like, man, love, bro. Like, so that's how I learned about him, is not through his producing. I'm like, yo, this nigga can rap.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh no, he got joints, bro.
So I was like, yo, man. I said, I didn't even tell him in that right there in that instance. I wasn't like, yo, I'm a big fan, and I just was like, hey, man, like, I said, I appreciate you, man. You super dope, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, here's my number, man. So I shot him a text, and we was just kind of talking or whatever, a little bit via text. And I never really thought in that moment of like going out. Then he used another one of our joints for Big Sean.
I didn't know about that one.
It was like a freestyle joint.
Still,
I can't remember the name of it right now, but
right.
it was crazy. And I reached out to him. I said, "Hey," I said, "Man, you really like our stuff?" He said, "Bro, like I told y'all, man, like y'all dope." He was like, "What's up, man? Like, you know, like pretty much like what we doing?"
Right.
Literally that day,
Mm-hmm.
I called JP and I said, "We have to go to LA. We gotta go to Cali." I said, I'm texting Hit Boy right now, like he was like, "Hey man," I said, "All right, bet, let's figure this out money wise, blah blah blah." Let me say this: I've never put this out here publicly, but I am going to now. Cause shout out to my mom.
Thank you for using our platform to do this. But go ahead. Thank you.
Shout out to my mom because she was so happy for me when I explained to her who Hit Boy was.
Right.
She gave us money to help us go to LA, bro. She didn't even have to.
Right.
She was just like, "I want to help you. I want to help fund what y'all doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of you.
Yep.
Here's some bread," and gave us a nice little chunk of bread
right.
to like be able to go to LA
and eat.
Yeah. And I was just like, wow. And I told my man JP, he was like, "What?" Like, so we booked flights that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted him and I said, "Hey man, we gonna be out here during this time." He said, "Hey bro, pull up." Like,
wow.
He was just like, "Here's the address. Like, what day you coming?" I told him. He said, "All right, bet. Let's get it." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we flew out there and we found a Airbnb. The Airbnb that we found was not too far away from the studio.
Wow, perfect, man.
Praise God, man. Man. So we got there and pulled up, and this is when it hit me, bro. Like, we pulled up, and they don't have a regular like gate that you can see through. It's one of them solid gates like you see in a movie,
right?
Like, and so I hit the buzzer, and I was like, "Yo," I said, yeah," I said, they was like, you know, ladies like receptions like, "This Challenge Studios," like blah blah blah. I said, "Yeah, Pelham and Junior." I said, "We here to see Hit Boy." She was like, "I'm sorry." She was like, "I don't have anybody by that name." And I said, "Pat Junior. Like I'm here to see Hit Boy." And she was like, "Oh," she's like, "Okay, cool. I see you on the list." She was like, "Come on in." And then she hit the button, the gate. So then we walked in. He's got a whole wing. God, man. I'm walking down the wing, nigga, and I just see all the plaques. Mm-hmm. Backseat free. I didn't even know he had a joint with Common. Yes, bro. I can't remember it, right. But he's got a joint with Common and got a plaque for it too. Wow, man. So I'm walking down the hallway, I'm seeing all the plaques, the backseat freestyle joint from Kendrick. Like, I think he got a joint, the Beyonce joint. Yep. I think it's a Mary J. Blige joint. Like, I'm just going through and I'm like, nigga, like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We here.
Yeah.
Bro, when I tell you, man, this man was happy to see us. He was showing love.
Right.
Just one of the most humblest dudes, bro. Like, "Yo, man, what's up, man? Happy y'all here." He was in a session with T Grizzly at the time.
T Grizzly was there?
Yeah, T Grizzly was there. Like, and I love that about him because I'm the same kind of producer. Lately, you already know I be hogging on my beats, bro. Mm-hmm. When I make beats, I'm making beats for me unless I happen to make something that, I can hear this person on or whatever.
Right.
I'm the same way. You gonna work with me, you pay me, I want you to pull up if you can. You know, because I like working with the artist in the studio.
Right.
Like, I'm not a send me beats type of nigga.
Right.
You either pull up or we work virtually at least. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But T Grizzly was in there. He was like, "Yeah, man, we working on T Grizzly joint right now." We was kind of just standing there, just listening to the music.
Right.
He was like, "Hey, man, he said, let me take you to the room y'all gonna be working in." I said, "Oh, we gonna have our own."
Y'all got your own space.
So he was like, "Come on, man." So we went down the hallway. JP was with me. We got our own studio room. I walk in. I look to the right, and there's this huge blown up photo of him on stage with Jay-Z and Kanye from the Watch the Throne tour.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh shit, we in Hit Boy studio right now. He was like, yeah, man, this studio. He's like, y'all set up however y'all want to, man. If you need anything, holla at me. We got runners if you want to get food, blah, blah, blah. That people will go to get the food for you or whatever. He said, but man, like, just let me know. Like,
wow.
So we was there. We was working on stuff. Another layer to like this being like treating. That's something I learned. I heard Odyssey in another interview.
Right.
When I was first starting, he was saying when it comes to full-time like music, he was like, sometimes it'll stretch past the hours, but he treats music like how his day, like a 9 to 5.
Like a 9 to 5, yeah.
He wakes up in the morning at a certain time. He reads, whatever, starts his day. He clocks out 5, latest 7 o'clock. Hit Boy was leaving the studio like at 7 p.m.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. And he came by. He said, hey, man. He was like, yo, appreciate y'all coming through. He said, man, this nigga was like, man, I'm sorry I didn't get to kick it with y'all today, man.
Right.
He said, but we gonna work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He said, y'all meet back tomorrow? I said, yeah. He said, all right, we gonna link tomorrow. All right, you got my word. I was like, bet. He left. Came back next day. We already had something for him, which he ended up using for him and Dom and Kennedy's album. And it had like Nipsey Hussle's voice on it, on the track. But that whole experience, man, he just was, like I said, one of the most humblest dudes that you will ever meet. And got every reason, if you will, to be cocky because of who he's worked with.
Especially right now, bro.
But
godly, man.
But one of the humblest. So shout out to Hit Boy, man, for just being incredibly talented, but also a real nigga. Like,
okay, so, but you guys was involved with the King's Disease Part 1 album, though, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let me ask you something. And you probably never thought about it from this angle. How does it feel to have it was the first joint, wasn't it? The first joint on a series. A series, bro.
I'm gonna say too, that whole run.
The run is stupid, bro.
That whole run is crazy.
Bro.
Like that whole I just loved seeing that with him and Nas. I just loved, because I remember seeing a video where Hit Boy was saying, man, I've always wanted to work with you. Him saying that to Nas.
Yeah. And they went crazy.
And he was just like, man, I've always wanted to, like, because, I worked with Jay, worked with Kanye. He was like, I've always wanted to work.
Bro.
And Nas was just taking it back, like, really, man? He was like, man, like, that was so dope to see.
Fam.
Come on, man.
I need you to understand, though, bro. You and JP set it off. Let
me say this too. Like, even beyond Pelham and Junior,
right?
Even beyond that, it's got me so many. Just as an artist,
right?
Like, I've had so many dudes in the sample, like the sound design,
right? Sample
making, like, community,
right,
that have hit me up. Or I've reached out to them, like, yo, man, your stuff is dope.
Right.
And them like, yo, you Pat Junior from Pelham and Junior? And then they found out I did music.
Yeah.
Like, I've had dudes be like, yo, here's my samples. Whatever you want to do, cuz, because they found out I made music and I produced, they was like, yo, whatever. I'm like, yo, you sure? Like, yo, whatever you want to, here's my samples, bro. I respect y'all so much. I've heard your music. Like, please. Bro, whatever you want to do.
Y'all got a mean one, though,
and I'm just like,
y'all got a mean brand, bro.
And I'm just like,
what do I do with this?
I know what to do with
it. Yeah, but
but it's like
the impact, the you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe it,
bro. Like, I didn't realize until that started happening how many people we have inspired, right? Because we all we're cool with the dudes but we've always kept to ourselves, not in like a way where we don't rock with y'all, but it was just like we've always been focused on what we're doing, right? And we talk to the other guys and we'll show love and all that, but like beyond the bigger names, there's so many other guys that really respect what we do and how we do it,
right.
especially because we don't sound like everybody else.
Nah, man, like that stuff is, bro, like it's different.
Yeah,
it's dope too.
So I've had dudes I've met producers that way too, like dudes that respect and they find out I do music. I've gotten fans like that too. Dudes like, yo, man, like they'll find out, they'll see Pelham and Junior, and then they'll end up like looking at my stuff, and they like one dude that actually came to the Chicago listening session for the mixtape.
Right.
He was a fan of Pelham and Junior, and then he found out I made music.
So that was just like whipped cream on the cake
and
and whatnot.
He was just like, bro, like, your music's so fire. I had no idea, bro. And
it's like you actually like, you're utilizing what you're selling. It's like, you know, they say, I don't know, man. You know, I don't know, man. Like a lot of times when, especially different cultures, right? Like let's just use a Japanese restaurant, for example. They say Japanese people don't eat the food that they serve or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how true that is. I'm just saying it's just something that, you know, a joke or whatever. But you're actually utilizing the product that you're putting out to people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, look, we ain't just sound designers. Like, yo, we get busy with the sounds for real. You know what I'm saying? That
whole team of producers and
crazy.
Dudes of the art. Like, you got Yans, who's an incredible rapper, musician. He's a part of Pelham and Junior. You got Thelonious Martin, who is a part of Pelham and Junior. You got Sway, who's an incredible artist, producer. He's part of Pelham and Junior. Like, we got a team, bro.
Right.
You know, some of them are artists, but just mostly producers that are just really great at what they do. And it's fire because it's like I've built this team around me of producers where it's like we're adding value to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they getting their sample packs off, we putting out a product together, and they turn around and they just like, here beats.
Right.
Production.
Right.
Rap on this. And that's when there's a synergy like that, and a connection and adding a value both ways like that, it's a great thing. But then it's just like a lot of people have said, man, that's a cheat code, bro.
Yeah, man, it is, but it's I mean, but it's dope.
Yeah,
it's
man.
dope. It's a dope opportunity. You're utilizing your platform to take it past.
Absolutely.
Just the artistry and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that's dope about music when you can use this to jump to something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Man.
Question I meant to ask you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Did you went to school for music and stuff like that? You didn't?
No.
Why did I think you was a Full Sail graduate, dude?
I did. I went to Full Sail, but I went for creative writing because I was trying to teach.
You went to Full Sail for creative writing.
I know how to. I'm a little rusty, but
still,
I know how to storyboard for script. I know how to character develop for scripts for movies, comic books. Like,
I always thought you went for engineering.
I went for creative writing because I wanted to teach.
Right.
Like, I really wanted to be a school teacher, and I was that close to teaching at some private institutions,
right? And
graduated with 4.0. You know what I'm saying? I was really about school then. Like, I was sailing in my undergrad.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think it's coming though.
What you mean?
I think it's coming. I think it's still coming.
Well, as far as like, what you mean?
I think institutions are gonna reach out to you.
Oh,
when they finally figure everything out, and they see the full. See, what's happening is you're building your resume.
Oh, yeah.
You're building your resume right now, like not even on purpose. It's just that you're building your resume. So when you finally do step into a Harvard or a Yale or you know what I'm saying, HBCU or whatever, you're gonna have a lot with you that's gonna add to your credibility.
I don't see myself. I could do some adjunct stuff. I could do like some appearances.
Right.
What I really want to do at some point is I want to actually like script write for a movie.
Wow.
That's what I really want to. You know how Ice Cube and Common and all the dudes, like, mainly Ice Cube, I really want my rap clout to be able to take me into that lane where I can write for.
Cube took it out there too, bro. Like for real. He took it out there, bro.
Bruh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's eventually, that's on my bucket list to be a part, either script write fully or be a part of like a small group of writers that write for a movie that lands on the big screen. That would be fire. I would love to do that. But shorter term, I want to get back into eventually like storyboarding for or writing for music videos. I'm super low key. I'm really a creative director, man.
Right.
Like I can see myself doing that at some point, but you know, I really love what Pharrell is doing on that.
With the fashion?
Just with fashion or just being Pharrell, Tyler the Creator, how some of these guys are creative directors for bigger companies.
And you know the crazy part is your content can easily align with them. And it's crazy, dude. Yeah. I'm just like, yo, looking at your stuff is no different from looking at a Pharrell stuff. I appreciate that, man. It's just no different. I'm like, yo,
it's just the quality, you know.
The quality, bro. Like,
I'm talking about the visual quality. Right. If I have more of a budget, man.
So you're doing this without a budget? That's crazy, bro.
A smaller budget, I say.
Right. I'm just saying, like, you know, yo, everything looks great, bro.
Thank you,
like,
man.
for real, like, seriously. And I'm just like, yo, this leader of the new school,
I'm just using what I got, man.
Yeah, but leader of the new school, though, bro. Like, all day long. I
appreciate it, man.
For real. Trying to figure out, man, is there something else I need to get right with you, man?
We have. This is definitely one of the best interviews I've had, bro.
Yeah, man.
Out of all the interviews,
like I said, man, I learned a lot from your interview with A-Dub. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from that interview, especially down to the point of, and I guess I should have covered this earlier, but you was talking about, you know, Tam, you know, how she supports you and whatnot, and I think what really got me, man, was when you said you thought about leaving music. Yeah. And she cried.
Yeah, man.
Yo, bro, that got me, dude. Like, for real, man. You know, it's dope when you have first of all, I think it's dope how you constantly lift your wife up. Yeah. With what you're doing. Yeah. Every opportunity you get. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah. But what's even crazy is the fact that she supports what you do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like my wife, she supports what I do, but it's the difference with yours is, it's like, she's like, okay, I'm jumping in with him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, you know, my wife's just like, hey, go get it, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, send a check home or whatever. And that's cool. That's cool. You know, Toya, I'm all right with that. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. But it's like, yo, man, like your wife like, yo, I'm going to sing background. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's just because she's a creative as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's dope, though, man. Yeah. I think it's real dope. And the fact that, you know, you thinking about like not pursuing it no more, like her because it's like she knows that that's what makes you tick. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. I think it's dope because in the hip hop world, you really don't see a lot of rappers like, you know,
honoring and celebrating their wives
until they got to the top. You know what I'm saying? And it's
some of them you don't even know they married.
Right, you don't even know they married. You know what I'm saying? And unless
and don't get me wrong, I understand, I guess.
Yeah, I get it.
I guess.
Right.
And that's not a negative thing. It's just like, but for me, it's like, I just love seeing more black men celebrating their wives publicly.
That's what I was going to say.
Especially within hip hop culture. Mm-hmm. Like, we need more of that. Yeah. Especially the stigma that comes with some of hip hop where it's disrespecting women, right, or, you know, being derogatory, mm-hmm, or, you know, sexualizing women, all that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the counter of that is, I just want to see the other side of that, more of men celebrating their wives in hip hop. Nigga, I love seeing Offset and Cardi. I love that. Yeah. I love it. You know what I'm saying? They ride for each other. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love seeing them in the videos. You know what I'm saying? She twerking on him. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, nigga. Yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah, man. Like, for real.
I love that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I love seeing even Toby and his wife.
Yeah.
Toby Weagle ain't his wife.
Is his wife she be in his video?
Yeah, with the shorter hair. Not with the braids.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Man. No, that's dope, man.
Yeah, I love seeing that within hip hop culture, and like even one of my Mick Jenkins, like he and his music talks about his wife. He'll have some pictures on the gram. Right. I love seeing married couples with like black men celebrating their wives and showcasing their wives and putting them on the floor. Like this is my good thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Within
it's like
hip hop culture.
It's like I notice that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm like, dang man, I got to get better at that, man. But it's like I'm from an era where I'm just so protective. You know what I'm saying, over my family. You know what I'm saying. But at the same time, when you do stuff like that, man, like your lady just she loves it. You know, it's one thing to build your lady up. Yeah. But when you do it publicly, you know what I'm saying? It just makes all the difference in the world. And I think it's dope that you're doing that on your platform.
I want to say this too real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
I just want to say this to the camera too, bro.
That's cool.
I am a huge fan of public praise. I don't mind private praise. Right. Like from my music.
Oh, so you about to take this somewhere else, bro.
I don't mind it. I like both.
Right.
But stay out my fucking DMs if you're not going to celebrate me publicly. Stay out of my fucking DMs if you're not going to celebrate me publicly. I'm going to just say that, bro. I can't stand that. Mm-hmm. I can't stand in private, oh, man, you dope, you this, that, and the third, and you can't say it publicly. Yeah. That's an ego thing. Like, you know what? And I meant to, which reminds me, I got to change the water out of my flowers. Okay. My wife yesterday, she bought me some flowers, man, to celebrate me for my project. And she said, I verbally give you your flowers, but I wanted to physically give you your flowers. Right. She was like, and I've heard the same before, because, black men, they never get flowers until it's time for their funeral. Amen, bro. And I just believe, especially black men, celebrating each other publicly, giving each other their flowers, and showing each other love and encouraging one another publicly. Right. There's nothing wrong with privately, but do both, man. Yeah. Because we need that affirmation to each other. Like, because some people look at it as like dick riding or whatever, or they're just crazy, like, oh man, and they be like, oh man, I don't know if it'd be weird. I don't want to be that guy. Like, nah, man, like let's show each other love. I had a dude after the listening. Right. I was at the gas station and I was on a phone with my wife, and then I was sending somebody a voice note, and the dude was kind of like, he was getting his gas, but he kind of like looked at me a little bit, and I was just like, all right, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then he walked around and he said, man, did you have a show recently or something like that? And I was like, I don't. He's like, you an artist, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, Pat Junior. I was like, yeah. He was like, man, I just wanted to tell you, bro, like, I'm a fan of your music. Yeah. And I really love what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, man. And I was just like, I ain't want to hold up your time. I'm like, nah, bro, what's your name, man? Right. Like, what's up? Right. Like, and I had a nice little conversation with him, but I said, I appreciate that so much. And I told him, I was like, as a black man, like, as black men, we need to celebrate each other more publicly and give each other flowers more. Yeah. Like, because I think the stigma or the thing that we've learned is we accomplish something and we, okay, cool, that was cool, on to the next thing. Right. Okay, that was cool, on to the next thing. Nah, man, celebrate the moments, bro. Mm-hmm. Celebrate yourself. Stop and smell the flowers, bro. Right. And give each other flowers. So, once again, I'm going to say this to the camera one more time. And that's just, even the music, on the music tip, even if it is ego, stay out my fucking DMs. Like, if that's all you gonna do is just say it in my DMs, stay out my fucking DMs. Show me love publicly if you really mean it.
Now, look, you know that if somebody show you love on your stories, it's gonna go to your DMs by default.
Oh,
though,
no,
right?
That's fine.
Okay,
I'm talking about them.
I know. I understand what you're saying. I definitely understand what you're saying,
that
bro.
Just send you that message, like, hey man, your joint was dope. Okay, yo, tell the people that. Yeah. That's how I was responding to people like, Okay, let the people know. Let the people know. Like,
nah, man. I think what's even crazier though, man.
It's corny, bro.
It is, but what's even crazier is when you see people out in the public.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't see that like. You didn't see that subscribe, but they told you how dope your joint was. You didn't see that comment. You didn't see.
Oh no!
I'm like, yo, you seen that? That's what you're thinking. You're like, oh, you seen that? You know what I'm saying? But you didn't. You know, dang.
Like for me, it's like that's cool. I take either or because even then it's like I understand. Some people get social media anxiety.
Yeah,
I know
that's a real thing.
I remember this
thing,
one girl who's a fan of my stuff. She's just like, sometimes I don't know what to comment or what to say, so I'll just like it.
Right.
But then, she will say she'll find the words on social media to say, "Oh my God, this song is so beautiful."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it might just be that.
That's cool.
Or I've seen people in public outside of social media say, "Man, this was crazy. This was great. Thank you so much." And then, like, cause I even had to tell my wife that was somebody that we know. I was like, "Oh yeah, that person. They not a social media person." Mm-hmm. When they see you in person, they be like, "Oh, I miss you," and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So some people get social media anxiety.
No, I'm not talking about strangers though. I'm talking about.
You want to go down that road?
No. No, I don't, bro. I'm just saying, like, yo, you my homie. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, but nah, man. But
nope.
You gonna hit it?
Listen, bro. I touched on it on boundaries on the third verse.
Right.
When I said some friends get quiet as silence is harder to tell. But if I do ask, please don't let your honesty fail. Right. Like, I understand some people deal with feeling less than because, like, the reason why you can't be happy for somebody else
because you're going through it yourself
or you just feel like your own accomplishments aren't enough, right? Mm-hmm. So I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, man, real friends celebrate each other. Right. Now, don't get me wrong. If the joint is trash and it's trash, you gotta be a friend and tell them that it's not good.
That's hard, boy.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but you got to be honest with them if they do ask and say, "Hey, man, like, how do you feel about this? Like, you know, blah blah blah." Be honest with them,
especially if you're running it by them before it get out to the masses. Stop you. Don't let them jump off that bridge.
But at the but also on the flip side, it's like, I know my shit is dope. Yeah. I know I've worked hard. I know it's great. Mm-hmm. But people I'm dealing with that right now. Yeah. I'm going to just be honest. I'm dealing with it right. I know artists who've dealt with that where it's like people who like you're friends with and they love and respect your work, and then you do something that's so next level and then they get quiet. Yeah. And they don't say, and that's tough to deal with. And what you have to realize is that's not a fault on your end. That's not my problem. I haven't done anything wrong. That's something that they got to deal with. Right. That's something internally that you're dealing with. So, and it's not a person. You can't, and it's hard not to, but you can't take it personal because it's like, this is something in you that you're dealing with. Like, it's not a personal attack on me. Like, you're dealing with this. You know what I'm saying? This is something, that behavior that you're, and I'm probably not the only person you doing it to. But at the same time, it's like, come on, bro.
But luckily for you, and this is out to other artists, you got to be mentally grounded enough to understand that. And you know what I'm saying?
And one thing that in therapy that I've had to learn too, bro, is my therapist challenged me to communicate to my friends how I want to be loved by them. Right. That was a challenge for me. I had to start communicating to my people, this is how I need you to love me. This is how I need you to show up for me. Right. Because I haven't done a good job at communicating that. This is how I need you to show up for me, you know? And some people, they understood right away. Some people, it took us some time to get it. And then also what I realized too, the people that don't get it, and what I'm asking for ain't crazy, maybe we ain't meant to be friends. Yeah. And you know what? That's okay. Like, do your thing. You got some stuff to deal with, but
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, it's just like, I've always been a person, because that's how my mom raised me too. Is like, she celebrated me. My family, we celebrate each other. Right. That's how it should be,
That's how
bro.
it should be.
Rejoice with those who rejoice. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Weep with those who weep. You know, like, there's a time and place for everything. Right now, it's up season for me. Right. Be happy for me, nigga.
Because I would be happy for you.
Because I would be happy for you.
Straight up and down. But
what I ain't going to do is, if it ain't reciprocated, I'm not going to be your personal cheerleader and not get no love and respect. Like, I'm a little guy. Right. I don't do that. Right. No, I don't do that. Right. I don't do that.
But you know what, Pat? That's man. And I'm not saying this that like you have to accept it. But man, you know that's the game, dog.
Oh yeah.
You know that's the game, and it sucks.
And it does. Yeah. I don't take it personally. I'm just like, okay. Yeah. I see where it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here. And I see what, and I keep it moving, and I put more time and energy into the people who are actually showing up for me and actually showing me love and actually celebrating me, because you better believe when it's up for my friends, I'm going to be up for them. I'm going to be like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to be excited.
I thought at one point I was being that guy to you, man, because it seemed like every time you had an event, I had something going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could never get it right. And it's like, we finally, you know, when you had the release party, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this work right here, because for one, you know, I really want him on the show, because, you know, I wanted you on the show early, but I see the type of content you put up, and I'm like, yo, we gotta come correct.
But I hit you up because
you hit me, but it's like, you hit me because I'm like, okay, I ain't ready to hit him yet. Like, this got to be right. Yeah. I'm looking at your content, bro, and I'm like, yo, it got to align.
But you are, but the thing, what I love, like, every time you see me, you always show love. You've always told me how proud of me you are, and that's done a lot for me. Word. Always, no matter where we are, if it's in front of people or whatever, you always show love, and you always say, man, I'm proud of you. You making me proud. I know you making your people proud, but man, keep going. Like,
all day.
And I always appreciate that coming from somebody like you, of your stature.
I appreciate that, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, like, in my mind, I'm like, because I what happened was, Brian, he had sent me a recent clip of the interview. It was, I can't remember who it was, but I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, right. I saw the setup.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Be kid, man. Brian will send you some stuff, man. Like,
bro,
for real.
Like, I said, yo, this is dope. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so this is like, either we're about to put out the project like a couple weeks before. And so when I was in Chicago, I hit you up, and that's when I text you and I said, hey, man, I just want to let you know.
You was in Chicago when you hit me?
I hit you in Chicago.
That's fire, bro.
We was on the move.
That means a lot, though, because it just means a lot. Go ahead, bro.
My wife was like, come on, babe, we got to go. I'm like, give me a second. Like, I'm texting you, and I'm just like, hey, man, I would love to be on the pod. Because you had mentioned it to me when we was at the Dreamville event. Right. And so you was like, hey, man, I would love for you to be on the podcast. You know, I'm getting some stuff to just give me some time to get it together. Yeah. But like, and so I just thought to hit you since I'm coming out with the project. I'm like, yo, that's when I text you. I was like, I think it's the perfect time.
And I hit my mans. I was like, yo, Fins, he's on his press run right now. I'm like, he's on his press run right now. And he want to come to the show. And I'm like, yo, like, that's fire. And you came right on time, because I'm like, okay, we found out.
Can I be honest about your response?
Man, please, bro.
You said, man, you was like, I got tears in my eyes right now.
I'm telling you, because, dude, we've been trying. It's like this. I wanted to get you on the show forever. Yeah. Because my main thing is, okay, this is not just a show. Right. This is not just a podcast for NC artists. Like, I'm breaking way out of that. But it's like, we got so many strong cornerstones right here.
Right. Let's start here.
And I need artists to come up here that are not just artists. Yeah. That have some game to offer, that has jewels to offer, that do other stuff other than just direct music and whatnot. Yeah. I've been wanting to have you in here, bro.
Yeah,
but I knew that with the type of content that you put out, I said, this generation ain't gonna go for analog, but they gonna go for the analog feel. Like, even though I think it kind of adds to, you know what I'm saying, the ambiance and whatnot. I said, man, with cats like Pat and, you know, Tab, I said, you got to be, you got that lighting got to be right. Like, everything got to be in order. And we still working. We still trying to, you know what I'm saying, grow and whatnot. That was the only reason of the delay.
And
you
that's
know what
cool.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
I
that.
knew with the older artists, it's like, yo, they going to appreciate this. You know what I'm saying? You know, matter of fact, they going to want it grittier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had an authentic, like, MTV Raps feel, that back in the day, Ralph McDaniel feel and whatnot, you know.
But for us, it's like, for me, I told you, I was like, I want to share this. I want to.
Yo, and I appreciate it.
I want to, because, I mean, not just because I knew it was going to be dope.
Right.
But also because it's like, man, this is my brand. This is my space to be able to talk about my life and, like, hopefully add value to other people with my story. So it's like, I want to, this is a part of the story of the new project. Yeah. So why wouldn't I want to share it? Like, man, I don't understand how artists don't want to share that kind of content.
It happens, bro. It definitely happens.
Like, why this is being so much so. I think, and I say this because I know we probably about to wrap up, but I say this. I think Will Smith really was the one, because the barrier was already coming down, but Will Smith was the one who took his sledgehammer and really completely chopped down that barrier when he got on Instagram. When he got on Instagram and started showing his life and who he was and showing, like, everything that he does on a day-to-day basis, that really finally brought down the barrier of mystique, I guess, if you will, of that, like, between the artist and the consumer. And so I think it was already happening, but he took that final swing and just knocked everything down when he hopped on Instagram. And when I saw, I was like, oh man, it's a wrap. Like, and so now, like, as an artist, it's important, and this is a win in my book, because I've always been about community, but it's pushed me even more so to put myself out there, show myself more, and build community. And that's how you build community, is you do the interviews, you do the podcast. It's not to look cool. It's to really communicate to your audience and showcase who you are. So I'm going to ask, like, the artist, why wouldn't you want to put this kind of content out to promote your brand and the music and who you are? Because at the end of the day, I know I'm doing this. You want to be full-time. I'm doing this because I am full-time, and I know first and foremost is impact for me. The dollars come later, but impact is the most important. And so for me, how can I impact if I'm not sharing these conversations that I enjoy having with my audience?
Yo, thank you, man. and see another, you know,
put some respect on my bro's name, man.
Yo, that's what I do.
Stop playing with K. Stop playing with my bro, man. Stop playing with my bro K Hill. Stop it.
Hey, man, much love, bro.
If you come on this podcast, you need to share the word. Stop. Listen, this is a resource of gems and information. Just, that's not even talking about his legacy and what he's built and who he is. Stop playing with my bro. If you get invited to come here, this is an honor to be on this platform. You understand what I'm saying?
Nah, man. But you know, Pat, it's like when I invite artists to come through, it's artists that I genuinely rock with.
Yeah.
Who's doing something that could benefit other people and whatnot. And most of all, you know, 9 times out of 10, they my homies and whatnot.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, man, like I said at the beginning, thank you for adding us to your run.
Man, come on, bro.
Thank you for inviting us into your home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that means a lot. That says a lot and everything, man. But really, thank you for coming on the platform, man, and adding value to our platform.
That's love.
Because I'm looking at this, like, each episode, it's like, it's something to add to our collection. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah. That I want artists to be able to go to and reference for years to come and whatnot. And I don't know, Pat, man. Just tell the audience where they can find you.
Okay.
if you tell them what you got coming up next too. You know, so just
right now I'm strictly focused on Grill Talk Mixtape Volume 1. I definitely have some merch coming. We working on that. It's pretty much done. Part of that merch is the gold tape, so they will be available publicly at some point.
I got my gold tape already.
And I love that because some people like, I got mine. Do you have yours?
I meant to bring it so I can, you know what I'm saying, put it up and whatnot. But.
Yeah. So the gold tapes, for people who've been asking, for everybody's been asking, they will be available probably in November, along with some other merch as well. But this month I'm just focusing on promoting the project, sharing these conversations, because I really want people to hear, like, beyond the raps and the production and the presentation. I really want them to hear the heart of the project.
That's what I try to, you know what I'm saying.
And I appreciate that.
Question: the gold tape. Are these gold tapes that's coming in gonna look different than the gold tapes that I picked up?
They the same ones,
same joints,
but I don't have a lot of them left.
Okay.
Because what I plan on doing is I'll have this short run.
Yep.
Once they run out, I'll just share this. It's gonna be a black tape.
Yep.
But those are gonna be the common ones.
Okay.
They'll still be dope.
Right.
But it'll be that those will be available. Like the gold tapes, I really want to make them special. You know, so we'll possibly maybe do another run of the gold tapes. But once the gold tapes run out, that's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I got some visuals, you know what I'm saying, for the project, for some of the songs on the project. I have 2 coming out at some point later on. I got some in-person pop-ups that I want to do. Like, and I won't share too much. Yeah, I got some in-person pop-ups that go along with the rollout of the project for sure. That I want to do. And then in January, I'm gonna start a Discord for the Gold Fang Society.
Oh man,
I really want to build an online community because there's been a lot of people supporting me, but it's gonna be some cool stuff that I want to do with the Discord.
Right. But
beyond that, I want people to be able to meet my team virtually, see what they do, see, you know, some of the stuff they do day to day in their everyday lives.
Right.
And just, man, I want the Gold Fang Society Discord to be an online community where we can add value to other people. Because that's what my team is about. My whole team is, we want to add value to other people. So,
well, definitely send me an invite, bro.
I got you.
As soon as that thing come out, even though, you know what I'm saying, older cat like me still trying to wrap my head around Discord and whatnot. You know, but it was necessary. It's necessary though.
It's so many different layers.
Yeah.
But as far as social media, I am Pat Junior. Spell Junior out. IAMPATJUNIOR. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. My website is iampatjunior.com. Everywhere. So go Grill Talk Mixtape Volume 1 out now. Everywhere.
Word up. Hey, to everybody watching, thank you if you made it this far, and I hope you did. Thank you for checking out Hip Hop Beats and Things. You know what I'm saying? Thankful to have Pat Junior on.
Yes, sir.
Remember, subscribe. We're also on all streaming platforms where you listen to your favorite podcast, Hip Hop Beats and Things, and support Pat Junior.
Yeah.
Support Hip Hop Beats and Things. To the next episode, we'll see you. Peace.
Yeah.